Well, I like Utrecht very much. I always say it's the small version of Amsterdam, so the better version of Amsterdam. It's less crowded, wonderful student life.
After doing my bachelor, I felt that I wasn't getting the full picture of the world problems that we face. Because every law, there is an economic side to it, and every economic reasoning, you have to take the legal side into consideration. That's why I chose to do this master.
We noticed the growing demand for multidisciplinary educated people, both from multinationals, but also from law firms, and even from national competition authorities and other regulatory agencies, as they tackle problems that are both legal and economic in nature.
For instance, we are confronted with upcoming movements such as Uber and Airbnb, and the fact that we are discussing the changing problems of this ever-changing world. I think that's a very nice aspect of this master's.
Once you put these economists and lawyers together, they find out that to a certain extent what they think is applicable in their discipline doesn't apply in the other discipline. They now become a bit modest in the sense that they really understand the limitations of what they have been going through during their bachelor education. So that makes for both a challenging in the beginning and a very fruitful combination at the end.
The pivotal question in this master program really is how to make markets and organizations function better. And the interesting point of looking at that question from both the legal and the economics angle is that it brings a certain depth to the answers that you can provide.
Us economists are taught to think in efficient ways, and we forget that the community is not all about efficiency. It's about human beings, it's about laws, it's about what's ethical, and that makes it very interesting in class because you notice the quite different perspective that economists have and what legal students or lawyers have.
We as lawyers always question ourselves whether something is allowed or not. But the economists in my class learned me that I have to think as a lawyer out of the box. I do think that I come up with more creative solutions to certain problems now than I did after my bachelor's.
I think that one of the most inspiring things in this master is that it brings together a group of students from all over the world. So they learn not only to talk to each other in a multidisciplinary language, but also to understand each other's cultural background. Also, the lecturers are international, or at least internationally oriented. And this spills over into the curriculum. We have cases that we discuss from different jurisdictions around the world, and we compare the solutions.
What's so interesting about this master is that one day you can walk in the classroom and your professor bursts in and tells you, well, you might not know about this yet, but tomorrow in the newspaper you're going to read about this case. They bring so many cases and so much knowledge into the classroom that you really feel involved in what's happening and not only involved in your books.
The professors have an enormous amount of practical experience. They were business consultants, regulatory authority consultants. They have even run their own businesses. At the same time, they have earned credentials as academic theorists. Now, that is, I would say, rather unique. You will not find this elsewhere.
We as students do also benefit from the professional networks from our teachers. Some of them offer us actual internships, and others use their networks to guide us into internships or maybe into actual work life, and they're always willing to help.
I work at the Authority for Consumers and Markets. Well, in my work it is very important to know why companies behave the way they do, so the economics part of it. But it's also very important to know how you can assess whether the behavior is acceptable or unacceptable and why. So this is where the legal part of my master's really has helped me. So I couldn't have made a better choice for my master. It really gives me an advantage in the work that I'm doing.
If there's one thing that I hope that students take away from this master is that they have learned how to bridge gaps and really hear and listen what other people from other disciplines have to say. I think that's a pivotal skill to have in the 21st century.
I hope to move back to my country, the Dutch Antilles, and get into the politics and just put the ethics and put the sound economic reasoning and the laws back in order to help my country back on its feet. That's actually the ultimate goal.